The boy who vanished at the hospital, the haunting disappearance of David Miera. In January of 1970, in a quiet mountain town in New Mexico, a little boy showed up to meet his newborn baby sister. He was 2 years old. His name was David Miera. He never made it through the hospital doors. He was seen just once, bundled up in his Christmas clothes, in his father's arms, outside the hospital window. And then, he was gone, forever. This is one of the strangest, most tragic cold cases you've probably never heard of, and it might have gone completely unnoticed, if not for the disturbing behavior of the man who was last seen holding David, his own father. Act 1, The Last Sighting. It was January 10th, 1970. Genevieve Miera, known as Jeannie, had just given birth to her second child, a daughter named Elia, at a hospital in Embudo, New Mexico. She was resting in her hospital room when she looked out the window and saw her boyfriend, Leon Zerfis, standing in the snow. He was holding her son, David. The boy was dressed in new clothes he had just received for Christmas. It was a moment she'd been waiting for, a moment of joy, but that was the last time she would ever see her son. David never entered the hospital, and he was never seen again. When Jeannie returned home 2 days later with her newborn, David wasn't there. Neither were any of his things. His clothes, his toys, his shoes, all gone, as if he had never existed. Act 2, Leon's ever-changing story. When Jeannie asked Leon where David was, he told her not to worry. He said he had given David to a childless couple from New York. Well, he claimed they were well-educated, artists or photographers. The woman was blonde. Their name, Baby, Phillips or Phelps, a strange and blurry story. But Jeannie believed him, at least at first. Then, the story changed. Now Leon claimed he'd left David with his sister, just temporarily, so Jeannie could recover from childbirth. But there was one problem. Leon only had one sister. She lived in Mexico, and she was in prison at the time. And even after she was released, she denied ever seeing David. No one anywhere had seen the boy. Not in Mexico, not in the US, not with family, not with friends. David had vanished. Act 3, The Delayed Report. A year went by, an entire year, before Jeannie reported David missing. She told police that Leon had become violent, unpredictable, dangerous. She admitted she had gotten involved in the hippie scene in Dixon, experimented with drugs, lost control of her life. But now, she said, she wanted the truth. She believed Leon had done something to David, and others did too. Even Leon's own family believed he had murdered the child. But by that point, there was no body, no witnesses, no evidence, just two parents. Two broken people, pointing fingers. One already fading into the haze of addiction and trauma. The other, a violent man with a wandering past, and a missing toddler, with no grave and no trace. Act 4, What Really Happened? Theories began to form, some chilling, others deeply human. One theory, written by a user years later, suggests the truth may be more mundane and more horrifying. They wrote, this wasn't a murder. This was a train-spotting baby situation. A child neglected to death by parents in a fog of drugs and dysfunction, and then quietly covered up. According to this theory, David may have died before Elia was even born. And the visit to the hospital that day? A lie, a fabricated memory, a myth told to friends and neighbors. So when someone came around asking, Where's David? They could say, oh, he's with family. He's with Leon's sister. And when that fell apart, they simply changed the story. Some believe Jeannie may have known the truth all along and chose to protect herself or protect Leon until the guilt became too much. Others believe she truly was abused and manipulated into silence. Maybe David really was given away to strangers, sold, vanished into a new life. Or maybe he never left that little house in Bixen. Act 5. The Aftermath. Jeannie went on to have 5 more children. He died in 1989, never knowing what happened to her son. Leon died in 2005. He never changed his story. And David? If he's still alive today, he'd be 58 years old. A man, walking somewhere among us, or buried beneath forgotten earth. His sister, Elia, the baby he never met, is still searching, still hoping, but all she has is a faded photograph and silence. A mother sees her son through a hospital window. He waves. She smiles. She turns away for 1 second, and when she looks back, he's gone.